Good afternoon, everyone. This is Kathleen at My Alabama Farm Life, and today I'm going to do an August tour of my garden and my coops. And that pretty fella right there, he's our new rooster of our black coop. That's Ralph. And then over here on the red side where our new coop is, we have our 7 hens and we have 3 roosters. We have King Tut, Cyrus, and Ray. After thinking about our choice of names, I'm kind of wanting to change Tut's name to Billy, but maybe not. And after I let everybody out of the coop so they can go forage, I need to come over here and pull off the last cucumbers off the vines. The vine is actually dying. There's still a lot of cucumbers on here. I'm going to leave the smaller ones on, but for right now I'm going to take the larger and medium-sized ones and I'll figure out what to do with them. But it's definitely dying over here. We sat down and talked about our plans on what to do with the raised beds after the cucumber dies. And I'm thinking I'm going to go ahead and buy a couple of bags of perlite and some manure compost and fill this in a little more because a lot of the soil has sunken in. And we're thinking about planting in September some spinach, some carrots, some lettuce, and maybe some cabbage. I find it amazing that even after leaving a lot of the cucumbers there, I filled up almost a 5-gallon bucket. Now we need to go over and look at our corn. Our corn was a big fail this year. I spent $50 on sweet corn seed and it just did not produce at all. However, our field corn that my uncle-in-law planted did fairly well, and we did harvest some corn off of it. And on the other side of the field, I planted a bunch of pumpkin, sunflowers, butternut squash, and Kajari melons. And we really did not get hardly anything to produce. I do have a few sunflowers that are coming up, but they are covered in vines. But I am starting to see little flower heads, and so we might get lucky and I get a few sunflowers. And I also managed to produce 2 pretty large plants. These are the Big Mac pumpkins, and they've got some really pretty flowers on them, but I'm not really seeing any fruit right now. Now, I thought I saw 2 pumpkins on the plant the last time I was out here in the field, but this time I'm just not seeing them. I finally did find a little pumpkin that was coming out, so I'm hoping that we get lucky and get some fruit off of this plant. Now, several hundred feet from my Big Mac pumpkins, I have a smaller pumpkin plant. I think this is the little pie or the sugar pumpkin plants that I planted. I'm pretty sure that's what it is, but I'm not seeing any fruit coming up on it either. But it has some nice blooms on it, and I still have my fingers crossed that I'll get a pumpkin off of this plant. Now, a little further down, I do have a cantaloupe plant, and I think this is a Kajari melon. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. It looks like it's been tore up quite a bit by the deer. And then way down there at the very end of the field, I have some more sunflowers. Now, unfortunately, back to the corn. That is all my sweet corn. It barely came up and it did not produce anything. I did manage to wade into the weeds and I found a little bitty ear of sweet corn, and this was as big as those ears got. So, very disappointing. Now, as we head back out to the front field, it is totally overgrown. I've tried to get in here and mow a little bit and weed eat, but there's so many beans and peas mixed in with the weeds. It's really hard to do anything. But our top tomatoes have pretty much played out, but the ones on the bottom are still doing well. But today our plan is to get in here and harvest some okra. We haven't been able to get out here in a couple of days, and it's really overgrown. And if we want to get more okra, we've got to get it cut off. But right there are my tomatoes and all my peppers, and they are producing really well. But back here to the okra, you can see how big some of those okra pods are. So after Eleanor and I got out there and picked okra, I ended up with almost a 5-gallon bucket, and she filled up her basket, and I also harvested a couple of tomatoes. And then I get to add the okra that Eleanor harvested, and that's what she got in her basket. Now I need to ask this question. How often do you hop into your vehicle or your truck and find eggs in your truck? I seem to do that a lot. All right, guys, so that is going to be it for our tour, our garden in August. It is an absolute mess out there. I keep trying to keep up with the mowing and keeping everything cut down, but it is virtually impossible because we have gotten so much rain lately. In fact, today it has done nothing but rain. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video. I hope you enjoy it. You guys have a blessed and joyous day.